A famous question in the Rambam. The Rambam writes, "V'chol mi she'ena maimin boy, mi she'ena machaka lebiyasei, lebishar neviim bulvad u'kefer ela b'teirev v'meisher Rabbeinu." Anyone that doesn't believe in Moshiach, or even if someone does believe in Moshiach, but he's not waiting, anticipating for Mashiach's coming, not only is it denying all the other Nevi'im, also in Torah Meisher Rabbeinu. And the Rambam brings a proof, Shara Torah Idolav. Like it says, Shanamar Vashav Hashem L'kecha Shvuzcha, the Eibush is going to bring everyone to Eretz Yisrael. And he brings a eye from Pashas Bilam that speaks about Mashiach, and from Marim Miklat. Now the first question is, where do you see, famous old question, where do you see from the proofs that Rambam brings that you need to wait for Mashiach? It doesn't say in Vashav Hashem L'kecha Shvuzcha that there's a chiv to wait for Mashiach. It doesn't say in Pashas Bilam there's a chiv to wait for Mashiach. Or in Miklat it doesn't say there's a chiv to wait, it just says Mashiach is going to come. So where do you see that if you don't wait for Moshiach, the other question is, and many people struggle on this. Actually, I met about 2 weeks ago one of the biggest Litvish Rosh Yeshivas in the world, the Eleber Wachtveugel, the Rosh Yeshiva in South Fallsburg. So I went to him and I brought him the Sefer, the Malchus. It was very, very nice. And I spoke with him in Moshiach, so I brought up this thing. So he also asked why is Eidem Machaka L'Biyotze is a koifer. So he touched always that Eidem Machaka means that you're making a time for Mashiach to come. You're being machash of a case. So Mashiach's going to come sometime, and therefore you're not waiting for him to come now because you're expecting him to come. You're not expecting him to come now, and he says that's Eidem Kfira. But what's shver with this pshat l'chayra l'fiyan is daiti b'mchilas kvartirasei. But the pashta pshat in the Rambam is the Rambam says eine machaka l'biyasei. This that you shouldn't make as a man and a kates. That the Rambam says in Perikid Beis. V'lo yosim leizman tibachruchen shamachash ve'kitzim. You shouldn't make any kitzim. Here he's saying about the chiyuv, a munin biyas a Mashiach, and the chiyuv to wait for Mashiach. And like the Rebbe says clearly, Machaka L'Biyosef, that Pashta Pshat in the Rambam, Machaka L'Biyosef means you're Pashta waiting for Mashiach. So the question is, why if someone's not Machaka, he's a Koifer? First of all, it doesn't say. And also Pashta in Ashkofa, why if someone is not waiting for Mashiach, is considered a Koifer B'Teireh V'Meisher Rabbeinu. Now to understand these two questions, we're going to explain in L'Choira. I'll repeat the famous nusach of the Yud Gimel Yisoidis. Yud Gimel Iker Ma'ani Maimin B'Muna Shleima B'Viyas HaMashiach V'Af Al Pi Shisma Meya Im Kol Zeh Chakali B'Chol Yom Mashiach. What are you saying over here? Ani Maimin B'Muna Shleima B'Viyas HaMashiach V'Af Al Pi Shisma. What does it mean V'Af Al Pi Shisma Meya? Even though he was kratzing. When could you when you're adding v'afal pishis mameya means you were saying that you were expecting him to come now or to come today, or even though he didn't come, nevertheless. But where do you see in the words Ani? Maybe you can say Ani Ma'amin B'Viyas Mashiach means the Mashiach is going to come in who knows when, and so what does this Mameya mean? That I expected him to come and he didn't come. So then you say well, here, where do you see Mashiach? Understand the question. So the Nakuda is to explain all of this, that real Amunah in Mashiach. What's this dik? Ani ma'amin b'amunah shleima b'viyas Mashiach. Why didn't you say ani ma'amin b'viyas Mashiach? And according to this whole beer, we're going to explain a very geschmack adik l'chayda, that whenever the Rebbe saying this sniggin ani ma'amin, the Rebbe didn't say the words b'amunah shleima. I was always wondering. You can hear again and again. Ani ma'amin b'viyas HaMoshiach. That's not, but the words is b'yamunah shleima. But the Rebbe didn't say b'amunah shleima. What does now? Just before we explain that, one thing at a time. If someone believes that Moshiach is taka going to come, the emes, he really believes Moshiach is going to come, part of the emunah in Bias Moshiach is to want Moshiach to come now. And that's the pirush of Machaka Lebiyos, like the Rebbe explains clearly. What does Machaka Lebiyos say? What are you saying? Even in the Nusach. What are you saying? Va'afal pishis mameya. Even though that he's not going to come, even though he's going to karatz, which means even though, let's say, he's not going to come now, so what are you waiting for? If let's say if Alpha Pishis Mameya, you know that he's going to come later in a few days. Even nevertheless, what does it mean? So what are you waiting for if you know that he's going to come later? Means you want it to come now. You want it's like a, I don't know if it's like a tefillah. It actually says clearly that it's like a tefillah. That you want it to come now. We want Mashiach now. So why, if it's such a, which means in other words, Machakale b'yosei means this is emunah shleima in Bias HaMashiach. So when you say ani maimin be'emunah shleima b'Bias HaMashiach, that includes that you want it to come now. You taka believe that Mashiach is going to come, so you want it to come now. You Machakale b'yosei. Machakale b'yosei is nichlal in the words be'emunah shleima b'Bias HaMashiach. Therefore, you could add va'afal pishis mameya. Because you expected it to come now, and that's the dik of emunah shleima. Therefore, the lashon that Rambam is v'chol misha einay maimin b'y oy misha einay machaka lebiyos. He says a guy is a maimin in Bias HaMashiach, but nevertheless, a maimin in Bias HaMashiach could be called a kaifer b'teiv v'Moshe Rabbeinu. Why? If he's not machaka lebiyos, which means so is he a maimin or not? It's not emunah shleima. He's a maimin b'Bias HaMashiach. But he's not machaka lebiyosei. It's nicht emunah shleima. It's chol misha einay maimin b'y means that he doesn't believe at all. He could be a maimin by oy, but he's not emunah shleima. That means einay machaka lebiyosei. And according to this, you can explain why in the psukim. In the Psukim, there is no mention about a chiyuv to wait for Mashiach, and also why is Einay Machaka Kaifer? Because in the Psukim, there's no mention either for the chiyuv to wait for to believe in Mashiach. It doesn't say in these Psukim you have to believe in Mashiach. It just says Mashiach is going to come. So if someone believes in the Psukim of the Torah, he's automatically going to wait. He's going to automatically believe. If you believe in the Torah, you believe in Mashiach. And what does believing mean? To take a wait for him also. Just as the Torah, there's no chiv to believe in Mashiach. The lashon of the Rambam, the Rebbe's Madaik, is b'loshin shlili. The Rambam doesn't say you have a chiv al pi Torah to believe in Mashiach. You have a chiv to wait for Mashiach. The Rambam says v'chol misha einay maimin b'y, and misha einay machaka lebiyasei. Boy b'shar nevim b'vadei keifer ela b'teira v'Moshe Rabbeinu. Shrei Torah idolav. The Torah says Mashiach is going to come. If someone believes in the Torah, he's also automatically can also believe whatever the Torah says the Mashiach is going to come. And if you taka believe Mashiach is going to come, you're automatically going to wait for it also. So therefore, it doesn't mention anything about waiting, because just like there's no chiv to believe either. It says it's going to come. You believe in Torah, you believe that Mashiach is going to come. You're going to wait for Mashiach also. If you taka believe it's going to take such a thing is going to take place, you're for sure going to wait for it also. Now, according to this, you could explain Lanias Daiti why the Rebbe didn't say B'emunah Shleima. Because in the Rambam, you can see there is two levels. There's a Munah in the Rambam, in Hilchas Malachim, there's a Munah in Bias HaMashiach, and then there is to wait for Moshiach. There's two darkes. These two darkes of Amun and Bias and Moshiach are waiting for Moshiach to Yud Gimel Yosoidos. Yud Gimel is Meyusad on the Rambam. If you're just going to say Ani Maimin, B'Amunah Shleima B'Vias HaMashiach, you're taking away the first level of Etzem Amunah and Bias HaMashiach. There's Amunah, and there's also waiting. There's two inyanim. If you're going to say Ani Maimin B'Amunah Shleima, you're skipping the first level of Amunah. This first Amunah Shleima. This means the way it is Ani Maimin B'Amunah Shleima B'Vias HaMashiach. You're only mentioning Machaka L'Biyasei. You're not mentioning the musig of Amunah and Bias HaMashiach. Understand? Now, I thought of this word, but then I said, the Rebbe, Shabbos Parshas Balak, Tavshim Memches, says, just like in the Rambam, in Hilchos Malachim, there's two inyanim, there's Amun and Bias HaMashiach, and there's waiting for Mashiach. So too in the Nusach of the Gimel Ikerim, there's Amun and Mashiach, and there's waiting for Mashiach. There's Ani Maimin, and there's a Chakal B'Cham Shavi. So I open up this Sikh and I'll look at the. You're going to see how meduyik it is after this whole pilpul. Look inside. You're going to see the Rebbe's lashon. Page Chav Hey. Okay, there for the beginning. When I get the chiyuv, lahamin b'vias haMashiach, Pesach Aram Milchas Malachim, v'chol mi she'einu maimin bei b'malach haMashiach, mi she'einu machaka lebiyasei, lei b'shai nevim b'vado keifer, ala b'terev v'mei rabbeinu shalei terid olav. Hainu, she'achiyuv hu lei rak lahamin b'vias haMashiach, ala gam lachakis lebiyasei. It's not enough to believe, you also need to wait for his coming. Like kabis l'tzabis l'biyas haMashiach, hechemei shekosov b'ayid gimel ikerim, ani maimin b'vias haMashiach. Like it says in the Gimel, do you see something interesting over here? The Rebbe takes out the words B'Amunah Shleima. This is not only when the Rebbe is singing it and saying it in B'chsav, the Rebbe takes out the words B'Amunah Shleima. Why? And over here, the Rebbe is being mashve. This is Bolok Tavshim B'Mches. The Rebbe is being mashve to Lashon HaRambam and Hilchas Malachim to the Yud Gimel Yosaidis. If you're being mashve the Lashon HaRambam to the Yud Gimel Yosaidis, you can't say B'Amunah Shleima, because B'Amunah Shleima is Machaka L'Biyasei. So the Rebbe takes it out, and the Rebbe just says Ani Maimin B'Vias HaMashiach is Maimin boy. That is Maimin boy. Just Ani Maimin. That's Chol Mishalema. If it's Amunah Shleima means you're being Machaka L'Biyasei. Therefore, Machaka L'Biyasei, this is if someone, like I'm thinking of a simple marshal, very simple marshal. If some schnotter tells you, I'm going to give you $1 million. Okay, you couldn't care less. You're not going to wait for it. You're not going to be happy. You're going to move on. What's if a multi-millionaire, some guy that's like $1 million for him is like $1 for you? Okay, if you'll tell me, I'll give you $1. Let me give you $1 for your share over here. I would expect to get it from you. And I would, or let's take it further. Let's say I'll give you $100. So $100 is, $1. That's like, it's something that's, it is. And I know you have $100. It's not like $1 million. So and you'll tell me I'm going to give it to you for your thing. So I would want it, like to say, okay. So like, when are you going to give it to me? Could you give it to me now? I would expect it. I would want it at least to be now. If it's some schnorrer that doesn't have nothing, like nothing, you tell give you $100. I wouldn't. So if you have if it's a multi-millionaire would tell me, a guy, a multi-millionaire, that for him it's like $100 for you, and he'll tell you, oh, I'm going to give you for your dos $1 million. So I would want to get from him the $1 million. I would expect to get from him the $1 million. I would want it. The Eibishter said the Moshiach is going to come. Eibishter promised the Moshiach is going to come. The Torah doesn't need to say wait for Moshiach. The Rambam is saying this is the waiting for Moshiach is nichlal in the Etzem Emunah and Biyas HaMashiach. If someone believes in the etzem inyan of Bias HaMashiach, the Mashiach is going to actually come, this is going to make him automatically wait for Mashiach. And this is also in a practical level. How could someone come to make himself wait for Mashiach? How could someone be ma'oided himself to wait for Mashiach? He needs to be machazik by himself, the etzem emunah, that Mashiach is going to come. When he's machazik by himself, the etzem emunah, in the etzem Bias HaMashiach, that it's taka going to come, that's going to make him wait for it. Lav Davka needs to learn about waiting for Mashiach. Verstehst? Okay, now let's read inside a little bit, because we're being Isaac in the Sug of Machakal B'Yaseh. We'll read for a few more minutes, just at least another piece over here. The emphasis over here in the Rambam is in two things. The belief in Mashiach is not something that's only said through all the prophets, and like the Rebbe says in footnote 3, the Rambam writes that there's no need to bring any proof for Mashiach coming from the Divrei Anavim. Why? Because it's not because everyone knows, yes, Yeshaya, Navi, the prophets are full of Mashiach, but Torah, Chumash, Moshe Rabbeinu, Divrei Kabbalah, Avshaz Kabbalah, V'avai Netzan HaTorah. It's not only Divrei Kabbalah which is coming from the Eibishter, Alagam Davar HaMefurish B'Teiras Meisha. This is something that says clearly in the Torah of Moshe Rabbeinu, like the Rambam says in the Rebbe brings in footnote 4. Ve'elu Advarim HaMefurashim HaTorah. Heim Koilalim Kol Advarim Shenem Al Dekol Nevim. These words that are clearly brought down in the Torah includes everything that all the other prophets said. This is not clearly in Torah back inside. It's not only once in Torah clearly. It says it in several places. Now, why does the Rambam need to bring a couple of times that the Torah speaks about Mashiach? So the Rebbe explains in footnote 5, Yeshleimar al derech shemitzinu ba'alocha shina alav la'akev ala harbiz balavim. Why does the Torah say twice the same chiyuv? It's not just the same chiyuv twice. Rather, the second time that the Torah says it, it's to be ma'akev. It's not only that this inyan is a hidur, that you could do it one way, and if you don't, okay. So it's nicht ma'akev. It's nicht ma'akev. It's la mitzvah. It's la teisefes, which is not ma'akev. Here, when the pasuk says it twice, it's la'akev. That if you don't do it like this, you're not yetsa anything. Or lahadbiz balavin, to make it more severe. It says the Rebbe, so too over here. This that the Torah brings the idea of Bias HaMashiach several times. It's ma'akev al derech to make it a stronger chiv. Okay, k'v'shahilach ha'mafarit shalachem akvira b'davar zeh rachman al-Islan yilei dak b'shar nevim ela b'teira v'meisha rabbeinu rachman al-Islan. So if someone does not believe or wait for Mashiach, he's kafer in Torah and in Meisha Rabbeinu, not only in all the other nevim. Just want to point out, if you turn back to page page Yud Gimel. Now, footnote 66 star. The Rebbe says, this is a Tavshim Mem test. The Rebbe is speaking to the Rabbanim HaRoshim. The Rebbe tells them, Ribu Yabsukim Shemei V'Aramba Meim Behesim L'Ribi Protei Yonim Shekayis Avedis Ameis Mashiach. This that the Rambam brings many psukim it's because the Rambam brings many Yonim and Ameis Mashiach that are going to take place. So therefore, he brings many psukim to prove from these psukim all the many Yonim that he says. Ad L'Sim Meidin V'Sever Kulei Abeis Yazman L'Yasham L'Rov L'Mulchama V'Likin V'Tacharus V'Chulu Masayim Shnever Kimola Ha'oretz Deis Havai Kamayim Le'Machasim Shebenegel L'Chol Prat U'Prat Yesh Kenire Raya Me'achad Ma'Psukim Shmei V'Lifnese. In every single detail that's in the whole entire two prakim is included in in these psukim that the Rambam brings. Why is the Rambam bringing so many psukim? To prove every single detail. Like right? The Aval. Kevin should say for the Rambam Muchelik Matera. She never about Afachba Vafachba the Kulaba. Had a Bachol Pama Pamish Lahisiv Valimut. Oid Prat. Oid Diuk. Bechulu. Befrag should make it to the Moshiach. Vimlei Achshav Masai. Because the Rambam is a part of Teda that it says Afachba Vafachba the Kulaba. You have to, delve in deep and because everything is included in it. Each time you learn it, there's another diuk that you can find. And there's something else that I wanted to point out from the same sikha. This is the answer. Now, if you go back, we'll finish off with this. Here, page Aleph, footnote 14 star. I just want to point out where the Rebbe says the same nikudah, but from a whole different angle. Remarkam acher is lechayde kevin shenere shel Rambam upiske halachas veloshen bruder v'derech tzara k'leshena b'aktomas l'sifrei loma ma'irich b'rayis leirak b'pasuk echad ela mekama psukim l'may nafkamina amani tezav b'halacha k'sheyeshna yoid pasuk v'yoid pasuk k'shmedaber binyan zeh lechayde b'halacha. What are you gaining by adding another pasuk? They speak about the same minyan. Now the Rebbe says ve'i efshar leimar Sharama maybe rise mekama psukim k'dei lahoisiv b'chizuk ha'amuna b'viyas ha'Moshiach. Sharei misha in maimin b'viyas ha'Moshiach u'koifer ki l'choire b'shvil ha'amuna b'viyas ha'Moshiach mesmika oisa achas b'teira v'lachas kama mekama pasuk shalom b'teira v'ntzerech v'achrach mekama psukim. So here the Rebbe is explaining and the Rebbe is asking a question. Why does the Rambam regarding to bring it to prove that Etzem Emun and B'yas HaMashiach is enough to bring one pasuk? As the Rebbe says, it's enough one ois, especially one full pasuk, and there's no need in a whole bunch of psukim. So the Rebbe explains over here in Tavshem, why does he bring all the psukim? Because each pasuk is not proving the same inyan. Again and again, just Moshiach is going to come, another pasuk, Moshiach. No, he's coming to prove out something else, another dig that's in all the other, that's throughout these two parakim. Over here in Memches, the Rebbe explains why does the Rambam say it several times? Because it's also coming to add Shina Olav La'akev or Laharbez Balavim. It's not just stam to just say again and again a rai from another place. It's coming to bring out the choimer of the inyan. And especially like the Rebbe explains, yes, in more than one time, that each pasuk is coming to bring out a whole different inyan. Shav Hashem Lekecha Shvuzcha is a clear raya that it's going to be done through a clear raya, but it says only through the Eibishter. It says to add the raya from Parshas Bilam. It emphasizes that it's going to be done through Melech HaMashiach, and Ari Mikolat is coming to bring out that it's a part of a mitzvah of Torah, or that's not only coming to return what we had once upon a time, but to bring Torah mitzvahs that we never had in the past, a whole new shleimus, shleimus Torah, but to a higher level. Not only to bring back what was, but to bring mitzvahs that we never had even in the past. That's how the Rebbe explains. The Rebbe has a few good 5 explanations why Ari Mikkelton is a separate raya, but but I'm just thinking now what I would want to taka do. I think would be a Shema Ke'inim. The Rebbe says that the Mefarish Rambam didn't do it, and it should be done. The Rebbe says to show how every pasuk that the Rambam brings is a raya for another inyan throughout the 2 parakim. So I'd want to maybe do it Be'ezer Hashem. The Rebbe does it to a certain level, but I'm saying Pasha to show you how Ari Mikolot, wait a second, with Shama Shama. There the Rebbe Taka says it, but the Rebbe doesn't. The Rebbe says it's not Lamaskona. That this is going to be Ari Mikolot. That's Halacha Beis is a proof for Halacha Gimel that the Moshiach doesn't need to make miracles, because Ari Mikolot shows you that the world is you're gonna need Ari Mikolot when Moshiach comes. But the Rebbe says you can't say that because a need of Ari Miklat means that there's going to be Ra, and there won't be Ra in the world, even in the Tkufa Aleph of Yemei Mashiach. So the Rebbe has a whole other explanation why we're going to need Ari Miklat. Not because people are going to be killing each other then, but yeah, to show how every single detail. So the Rebbe does it for Halacha Dalid. The Simonim of Melech HaMashiach, the Rebbe proves how all the Simonim of Melech HaMashiach are nichlal in the Rai of Parshas Bilam. Rai of Parshas Bilam, he speaks about, he says, Arenu v'le'ata, Sherenu v'le'karv is the person himself. Then there is a Shmo on the Yidden, Tarach Kechav Miyakav v'kom Shevet Miyisrael. There is a Shmo on the Goyim, and it is a Shema on the Goyim itself. There's in a way of not only Shvira, but in a way of Tikkun. That's the four dargahs he says in Allah Chadal. There's Melech Bebeis David Eke B'Teirevez Kamitzis Mashiach himself. There is a Shema on the Yidden. Yaakov Kol Yisrael Leilach B'Alach Hazik Bitka. That's Tarach Chechav Mi'akav V'Kom Shevet Miyisrael. Is a Shema on the Goyim. The pasuk says, that's what the Rambam says. And the fourth level, the Rambam says, that's so Rebbe does it for Allah Dalit, but it'd be interesting to do it Be'ezer Hashem for the whole entire, like every the Rebbe says. Rebbe uses a lashon over here. All the inyanim of Yemei Mashiach are nichol in the psukim in Torah. Like midid le'remiz be'iraisa. If there's nothing that's not nichol in Chumash, so obviously, like in the Rambam brings down these psukim, it's a source for every single thing. The Rebbe says till kamayim lo'yam machasim. Till that, it's not only the Perek of the whole Perek base and every single thing. So it would be interesting to do it. Okay, Moshiach now takes me ad mamish.